Assalamu alaikum. Last time we were looking at the Hamza. We introduced the Hamza and we showed how it's written at the beginning of the word. Basically always sitting on the letter Aleph or under it. And now let's have a look at how the Hamza is written when it's in the middle of the word. It's a little interesting. Of course, now we must take a closer look by which vowels it is surrounded. The Hamza in the middle of the word. The general rule is that if the Hamza is surrounded by the vowel A, then we will write it on the Aleph, like at the beginning of the word. If it's surrounded by U, we'll write it sitting on the vowel, and if it's surrounded by an E vowel, sitting on the Ya. This Ya without dots. But what if the Hamza is surrounded by by different vowels? Then the general rule is E is the strongest, U is weaker than E, and the weakest is A. We must look at some examples. For example, we can take Su'al. What does Su'al mean? Su'al means question. Now let's cut off this short U. Now we have the rest, the remaining part, the consonants and the long A. Now let's write it with Arabic letters step by step. The S is written with the letter Sin, then the Hamza, let's just write it on the line. It cannot be connected to the other letters, by the way. Then the long A with the letter Aleph, a normal naked Aleph. Then L with the letter Lam. So now, we have cut off the short vowels, right? But now we must take a look at the basic form, or the way it's read, actually read again, and see it is surrounded by A and U. What is stronger? U is stronger than A, and so we must write the Hamza sitting on a vowel. This means Su'al is written like this. Su'al. Easy, right? What other examples? Let's take the form Su'ila. Su'ila means he was asked, or he were asked for. Passive form of the verb. But that doesn't matter now. What's important is the writing. So the vowels are all short, so we cut them off and reduce it to this formula. Just the consonants, so let's write them down. S, L. But now again we must look at the basic form, not this cut form. By which vowels is the Hamza surrounded by U and E? What is stronger, U or E? E is the strongest, so the Hamza wants to sit on the letter Ya here. In the case of Su'ila, will become like this. Su. Ya in the middle of the word looks like this, and it will carry the Hamza. Su'ila. This means he was asked. the passive form. I think it's pretty easy. You can do some more examples. How about the beginning we had the active form سأل. سأل, he asked. Looks like this, and again the same game. Now we will write it like this, and of course if you look here, the Hamza is surrounded just by the vowel A, so it will look like this sitting on the Aleph. So that's how you actually write Sa'ala. Here you must write the Hamza when it sits on the Aleph in the middle of the word or at the end of the word. It's not like at the beginning of the word where it's clear that the Hamza always sits on the Aleph, so people often don't write the Hamza, but in the middle you must write it. I would consider it wrong if you don't write it in the middle of the word. Yes, I mean, I think the idea is clear. It's something that could be confusing or something like that. Of course, we must make more examples and see what can happen, and then people get confused. I mean, yeah. You can also look at the end of the word, or one more thing, even in the middle of the word the Hamza can sit on the line. For example, if it follows after a long A, and if there's not an I or U sound after it, maybe just a short A, like in just a short A, or maybe a consonant. For example, let's write it here, Qura. If that's the case, we can take and then it's written like this, long A and Hamza on the line. For example, Qura'a. Qura'a means reading. It's the infinitive form, or the verbal noun. Qura'a. Qura'a, written with a, that's another thing. Qura'a. Now let's cut it. The Q, then the R, and long A, of course always written, and the Hamza, and then short A, not written, and the Ha at the end. Qura, like this, right? Then in the Arabic script, the Q is written with the letter Qaf, the R with the letter Ra, and the long A with just a naked Aleph, and the Hamza will just sits on the line. That's the first step we will do, and it will stay on the line. And the Ha at the end. As for this Ha, this is maybe a little stupid example I've taken. This is one that has two dots over it. It's mixed of Ha and Ta, but that's another story. It's the so-called Ta marbuta, which is the second important additional letter in the Arabic script, the Hamza and the Ta marbuta. But the Ta marbuta is very easy, but also has nothing to do with our topic here. And yeah, that's it if the Hamza is in the middle of the word, but before it a long A comes, and following it is only a short A, which doesn't change anything. I mean, we could look at some more things. For example, if we would say يشاءان. What does that mean? The two wish something, two people. It's a dual form. يشاءان. 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 Now let's cut it. Y, sh, long A, Hamza, long A. Now transforming it into the Arabic script. Now, what is this? The Y just with a normal Ya, then the sh with the letter sheen. Just the letter sheen, and then long A, naked alif, then Hamza, again long A with a naked alif, then noon. I think you can write it just like this. You know, the rule says after a long A, the Hamza will sit on the line. Well, but here we could also interpret it in another way. We could say, what is a Hamza, and after it a long A? I mean like this. And as for the Hamza itself, in this case, it is just surrounded by A vowels, so it could, this Hamza could say, I want to sit on, let's write it again, Yasha. I want to sit on an alif. The Hamza here maybe wants to sit on an alif because it's surrounded by A sounds, right? Surrounded by A, just by A sounds. So it cannot sit on a ya or wow, just by A sounds. And like this, right? But now we have learned that a Hamza sitting on an alif and following a long A, also written with an alif, is shortened like this. So maybe we could write Yasha'an like that. Yasha. Yasha'an. I think that's a good question. Maybe both ways are accepted, but that's always the way we need to analyze this and count and counter-count the rules, the basic rules. So next time we will take a look at the Hamza of the end at the end of the word, how it is written. Until then, ma'as salama.